everyone. This is Tina from Tia's Treasures, and today I have a quick unboxing of Echo Park, their club kit, and I will have 5 cards as well. But first, let's open this up. I obviously have not seen anything inside of it. Let's see. Happy Christmas Inspiration. So obviously it's called Happy Christmas. And we have some ephemera right off the bat and some washi tape. Let's move this out of the way. Open pretty thing up. Ooh, 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 ooh. Come on. You can hear me, but you can't see me. We have some brads and a little bit chipboard stickers. This Carta Bella. Instead of Echo Park, we have a 6x6 paper pad, which I will go through in a second. With some chipboard accents. And we have the 12x12 paper along with a sticker sheet. Now these are usually always the same, just they are bigger versions of what's in the notepad. So we will look at this and, well, that way I don't have to open up the paper. Ooh. Cut aparts. I like these stripes. We have snowflakes. Christmas trees. Those are cute. More cut aparts. Wood grain. Little berries. Those are cute. Sprigs with berries. It's almost like tropical Christmas. Charlie Brown's Christmas tree, huh? Merry Christmas. I like these. More Christmas trees, black snowflakes, plaid, wreaths, those are cute. Plaid and cut aparts. More little berries, poinsettias, buffalo plaid, and I think we start all over. Yes, we do. And I'm pretty sure that everything in here is pretty much the same. So I will be back momentarily with some cards. Okay, in addition to the cut apart sheets, there's, that come kind of with the 6x6 pad. There's some different things that come with the big paper pad that I thought we might take a look at real quick before I start my cards. Get this really, really fun sheet of cut aparts that pretty much look like tags. We also, on the back of our poinsettias well, this is the buffalo plaid. We saw that, so it got in with my other sheets of paper. We have this sheet of cut aparts. It's a nice size one. Would make some really beautiful cards all on its own. We have some smaller cut aparts here. I think these are 3x4. And this is really fun. Look at this, all these little, looks like little chalkboards. I don't think I've seen anything like this on a card before. I'll probably be using some of these for sentiment. And my paper just hit the camera. And I have this big sheet of cut aparts. Got one recipe card and some other just different size cut aparts. So there you have that. So I started off by taking 8 sheets of the pattern paper, the 12 by 12 that came with this kit, and I was cutting it up into some strips, 4 1/4 strips. Now, because it was 12 by 12, for the 4 1/4 strip that I cut, I was able to get 2 different card fronts along with a approximately an inch long little strip. And I took these and I decided that I liked them so much that I was going to try to let most of the cards and the paper, rather, do the work for me. So I took a bunch of cut aparts as well, and I used them. Basically, what you're seeing here on this first card is I've got some strips that are 4 1/4 by almost an inch wide, and I glued 3 of them on the front of this card along with a tag that came with the ephemera. I didn't end up cutting up that sheet of tags. And so after gluing on these 3 stripes and the tag, I took a piece of ribbon from my stash. I didn't even know I had any black ribbon, but I took the ribbon and I tied it into a bow. And the bow was pretty much one of the few things other than some enamel dots that I brought into this kit. Now, I did bring in some dies that I had in my stash, a few dies and foam tape and, card bases, and that was about it. So here you're seeing me put on a little glue dot on the back of my bow and a few glue dots where the tails of the bow are, along with a little bit of liquid glue right by where the bow gets looped through. And I always like a little bit of liquid glue on there to hold it, because I'm never so sure how little glue dots are going to do. I think you could still rip the bow off if you wanted. So, and then for this card too, I take some of the stickers that came on the 12 by 12 sheet and I use those to decorate the inside of all these cards. So this first one, the outside says Happy Holidays, and I almost put the same Happy Holidays inside. And at the last minute, I decided I better go with Merry Christmas. So for this second card here, I've got 2 snowflake patterns. And I've got a sentiment that says the most wonderful time of the year. And what I'm going to do for this second card is I'm going to pop up that stripe. And this sentiment here comes from the little ephemera pack. It's frame and some frames and tags is what the ephemera kit supposedly is. And so there's not a whole lot of sentiments with the ephemera, but enough that I was able to get it to work. So I'm putting a little bit of foam on the back of that center stripe so we can pop it up. But I just think the little snowflakes go so nice with, the 2 different papers. And I do bring in some enamel dots. I've got some kind of cream colored enamel dots that match perfect with this kit from the Stamps of Life. Now, I do have that pack of brads that came, but they're just, I think there's only 6 of the little pearl ones, and they're sit pretty far up. They've got a little bit of like a metal ring around them. And so I wanted to bring in some enamel dots. And I could not find any Echo Park ones in my stash that went with this, but the Stamps of Life one, those worked beautifully, and so that's what I end up using. Now here you do see me kind of using a little bit of foam to pop up this sentiment just on the sides so it doesn't like get all smushed down. And it's still, I think, got a little bit of squishy. I probably should have put a little bit more foam underneath this sentiment here. And I'm just kind of gluing it down in the center there. And my glue did not want to stick, so I kept having to really squish it down to get it to stick. And I think that's where I kind of squished a little bit too much. And so for the inside here, we're going to put Happiest Holiday and a little bitty stocking. And that's it. I tried to straighten out this sentiment, but it would have tore the cardstock, so I just left it alone. And here you see my little Stamps of Life enamel dots. And it is a full sheet of these cream colored dots. So I use this quite a bit on a lot of these cards. And I'm going to take a little bit of a sparkle pen as well, Spectrum Noir Sparkle, and I'm going to sparkle up the snowflake and the little berries right there. Now for this kit, I just, I wasn't planning quite to use as much of the cut-aparts as I ended up using on some of the later cards. It's just, and once I started really looking at the cut-aparts and how they went with some of the different pattern paper, I couldn't resist, which is why we ended up as well with 10 cards instead of 5. Now this card here, I took a circle die and I cut out Happy Holidays, and then I took a scallop die and I cut out the scalloped circle, you see, that was just going to go around the circle that I had cut out, the Happy Holiday circle. And when I was looking at it, I still had that nice piece of square pattern that I thought I would just kind of turn on its edge to use. Now I get my card base, or my card front, glued down on top of my card base, and you can see my little square there. And I'm going to put that at an angle, make it like diagonal. And I'm just gluing that down straight. And I am going to pop up the little scallop die right inside of it. Now I originally had, meant to pop up the scallop die with the green side showing up for contrast. And for whatever reason, when I started putting the foam tape on that scallop circle there, I put it on the green side. And I didn't even notice I did that until I was editing. It actually, because it's popped up, it works out fine. I don't know how much of the dimension you can see here in the video. Can't see any right now because I haven't done it yet. But I am getting ready to put that tape down here. That's the thing with voiceovers. I think that you get ahead of yourself sometimes, or you get behind. It's really hard to say what you're doing and actually go step by step, because you do want to speed these videos up a bit or we'd be here all night. Now this is pretty much only sped up to a double speed. There's a few spots where I speed it up a little more and a couple near the end where I slow it down to normal. But overall, it would be twice as long otherwise. Now you see here that I am lining up that scallop right to the paper. And it really, it gives it a nice look, but I still kind of wish I would have gone with just the green for a totally more contrast. But it ends up working out fine in the end. And I'm just popping that Happy Holiday sentiment right inside of the popped up scallop circle. And now I'm putting a few of the foam dots on. And even though that diamond shape isn't totally centered, I think it's fine. I like the way it looks. It's centered enough. Now on the inside, I'm going to put a little bitty sticker that says Warm Wishes. And I am going to put a little bitty Christmas tree sticker as well. Now when I was originally doing these cards, I thought I would be using a lot of stickers on the outside. And I almost wish there was some stamps, because I was going to do some coloring for a change. But no stamps came with this kit. And so, I just used what I had. And now for this third card, you are going to see me take this real pretty like berry paper, and I'm going to use that on the front of my card. Now I wanted to do something a little bit different because a few of these cards are real similar. So for this one, I cut it down. I figured we'd make it 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I'm just using my corner chomper to chomp off the 2 corners on the top and the bottom. I'm not going to do all 4 corners. I'm just doing the 2 of them on the right hand side, and I'm also doing that to the little cut apart sentiment that says Happy Holidays as well. So it just gives a little bit different look, and I am putting a little bitty stripe there. I'm gluing that down. Now this paper here, this Carta Bella paper from Echo Heart, it's got a slight texture on it. It's a nice weight card or pattern paper. It's not cardstock. It's a real nice weight though, and so I'm not really worried about things dipping, which is why I don't end up putting like scraps of cardstock underneath my cut apart to keep things even, because you don't really feel where it's like I've got the stripe underneath the striped paper. It's still nice and smooth. And so I glue that on, and I'm still thinking we need something else, and I glitter up the 2 flowers, but I still want to add a little more to this card. I'm thinking, what else should I bring in? And I looked at some of the enamel dots, and I'm like, no, those aren't quite what I want to do, because I want to put little gems in the center of those 2 flowers. And here's where I remember I've got the brads that came with this kit, and I end up pulling off the one pearl, the white pearl, and I put it right in the center of the biggest poinsettia. Now if I'd have taken some time, I think I have some yellow enamel dots that might have looked good in the center, but who knows where those are in my mess of a room. And now I am just taking some more enamel dots, some little pearls that I have in my stash, and I'm kind of putting those all over the front of my card here. And I end up deciding that the little pearl that came with the kit, the one that I put in front in the first flower, is a little bit too high. It's a lot higher and bigger than the other pearls. So I pull that off right here, and I put just the same pearl that I've got all over the rest of the card right in the center of my flower. And that's pretty much it for the front of the card. And now for the inside, I bring a little Merry Christmas sticker, and there's this little bitty ornament sticker that I put right there in the left hand corner, and that is it for card number 4. Now for card number 5, I have got the cut apart that says Merry Christmas on it, like the little chalkboard, and I've got a piece of pattern paper that was originally 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 that I cut on the diagonal. I just put it in my cutter and eyeballed it and chopped it down so I could have a little bit of visual interest on this card. I do like this poinsettia pattern paper, and so I figured with the diagonal it really just adds some interest that you don't see that often. Most of my cards are pretty, have a lot of right angles on them. And now I am popping up this Merry Christmas sentiment. And here is where I don't know what I was thinking. I used a buttload of little foam squares instead of my big roll of foam tape. And so I didn't subject you to seeing, watching me put all those little squares down along with taking the backing off of them all. So I skipped ahead. And now I'm just putting a few enamel dots right here on the front of this card. And I do really like the way this card looks. I think I love those little chalkboard sentiments. They are so cool looking. And now for the inside of this card, I've got a little sticker that says joy, and I bring in a little ornament with a heart in the center. And so that was it for card number 5. Now for card number 6, I took a scalloped oval that I had in my stash, and I just took one of the cut aparts and I used the scalloped oval to cut it out. And now I am taking some of the foam tape I have, instead of a bunch of little dots or little squares like I did on the last card, and I am being smarter and just using that, so I only end up with the 5 strips instead of like a trillion little foam squares. Much easier to use here. I made that a little bit long because my last one was a little short, so I add that right there so I don't have a big gap. And I am going to put that right in the center. Now I have my plaid background there is 4 by 5.25 because I wanted the little bit of white backing showing. So we've got a little bit of a frame. And then the red piece with the foam tape on it, I believe that's 3 inches across by, I don't even know, 4 and something. It's just, it's the same dimensions as, you know, it went down in measurements, so it's got the same dimensions all the way around it. And so I put that down, and now I'm just gluing flat the Enjoy the Season sentiment. And I'm going to use the Spectrum Noir glitter pen to glitter up the little houses and trees on the bottom and the words enjoy and the word season. And so what was that? That was like 4 and a half, I think is what I cut it down to. And the sentiment on the inside is joy to the world, and I put this really cute little ornament sticker right on the left hand side. Took me a little bit to decide what I was going to use, but then I used this really darling sticker there, and that's it for card number 6. Now for card number 7, I really liked this wreath pattern paper, and so I had to use that on something, but it was a little bit busy. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, so I took a stripe of the snow, like the, what color is that? It's like a tannish red snowflake pattern paper, and I'm going to just run that down the center. And, you know, just again to give a little bit of interest, and because it just seems like it works. No other reason. It just works. And I have the sentiment Merry Christmas there that I took a scallop die, a scallop rectangle die, and I cut that out, and I'm popping that up with some foam tape. You know, giving that a little bit of interest. Now here's where I got smart and decided just to tear it off instead of struggling with scissors. It makes it a little bit easier to tear the tape than to cut it and try to get it the right length. And I am trying to, you know, reposition that, but it seems like once that tape touches the card, it is not going anywhere. And so now I've got a few of reddish dots that match this really well. They're not red and they're not like brown. They're like a rust color, I guess would be the best description of this color. And it just matches the snowflake pattern paper perfectly. Now in the inside, I use the sentiment that says Happy Holidays and a little cute little sled. And that's it for card number 7. Now for card number 8 here, again, I'm having the pattern paper work for me. I've taken 2 of my scallop dies and I cut out a little background for a little frame for my sentiment that says Winter Wonderland. It's got a cute little tree and an ornament, and I am taking a little stripe just to break it up a bit because this background is really busy. I love these little flowers all over it, but it just, if I would have like put a sentiment straight on there, it would have been so lost. And the little sentiment with the ornament, that would have been lost as well because the color is similar. It's the same actually as little flowers, which is why I took the little plaid background and cut that out to frame the sentiment. And now I'm just gluing it to my card base. And I am going to use my Spectrum Noir glitter pen, and I'm going to glitter up the entire ornament because it's supposed to be glass. It's like, why not? We get it all sparkly, the whole thing, and it really just, that's all I do to the front. I don't add any enamel dots. And for the inside, I've got this cute sentiment that I put on there that says, "May you never be too old to search the skies on Christmas Eve." I still look up. Habit. And this little sticker there says, "Ho, ho, ho." And I put a little green snowflake and a little red snowflake. And that is it for card number 8. Now for card number 9, it's a real similar card, but I just adored this tree paper and I just had to use it. And so I was trying to figure out what I could do on the trees when I saw the cut apart with the tree, and I thought that would just work perfectly on this background. And I took one of the stripes, the strip of pattern paper, and I glued that down over my tree background here. And then I put the cut apart right on top of that. And I took my Spectrum Noir glitter pen and I just glittered up the star and I glittered up the presents underneath the tree. And now I'm going to bring in just 2 of the enamel dots, 2 of the little rust colored enamel dots that matches the stripe of pattern paper. And I only end up putting the 2 down there. And I think that's enough for the front of this card. It says Very Merry Christmas, and the inside says Happy Holidays, along with a little sticker with all the little trees. And now for my last card. I love this pattern paper. This is the only card that I actually brought in a solid cardstock for. This is a cranberry colored cardstock from the Stamps of Life, and I love this color red. I just think it works so well. It's not one of those cherry reds, which is not my favorite. And I glue that, and then I'm going to glue down this little black paper with the little flowers all over it. And this black paper's 4 by 5 and a half, I think, or 5 1/4. So it is busy, but I said I love it. So I'm just going to take the little sentiment that says, "May your days be merry and bright," and I'm popping that up. It's on wood grain, so it doesn't get lost on this background. And now I'm just glittering the garland and the little flowers there. And see? And I took my T-square ruler because it looked crooked to me, but it is not. And so I got those all glittered, and then I decided I wanted to use just a little more on this card. So I brought in some enamel dots, and I was really trying to get out of my comfort zone. I think I say that almost every, at least once per video. And so I was just putting the little enamel dots all over the place. So anyway, that's going to be card 10. Other than the inside, which, I guess I should tell you what I do on the inside. I put a sticker that says Jingle All the Way and the cutest little Christmas tree sticker on the left-hand side. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up or subscribe. I am very close to 300 subscribers now, and I would love to get all the way there within the next day or two. Here are my 10 cards. Let me know what you think. They all definitely, you can tell they're a set. But I think they all turned out pretty cute. And I just love them. I'm not sure which one's my favorite. I do like, I don't know. Well, anyway, bye-bye for now, everyone.